Collectors are realizing, oh my gosh, yes, this is a very, very important sports car. It's a sports car that changed the world, and it's worth having one of these in the collection. And a bone stock, original, low mileage Miata is coveted. Those are the cars that you're starting to see on Bring a Trailer. They're starting to go for crazy money. A rough one is $3 to $5 grand, and a nice one, especially a limited edition, which we'll get into a little bit more, is upwards of even $15,000 to $20,000 in today's market. Still a good value for what it does and what it is and how reliable they are and how fun they are to drive, but the prices have definitely gone up. All early Miatas look the same, right? Well, not so much. First off, they came in only 3 colors. They were either red, blue, or white. The very first cars were in those 3 colors. They also had an option package. You could get some options individually. They did not all come with air conditioning, so when you're looking for one, make sure you ask that question if it's important to you. The first package available was called the A package, and it had a leather-wrapped steering wheel, it had power steering, and it had alloy wheels. I like the power steering. It makes an easy to drive, quick car even easier and quicker. So I think that's a valuable package. The B package had everything the A package had, plus it had speakers in the headrest, which most Miata people will tell you they're not all that, but there's something. And it had power windows, which are not absolutely necessary on one of these cars. You can reach over, but it's a nicety. And it had cruise control, which if you're doing any highway driving, cruise is a nice option to have. Well, let's talk about special editions. In '91, the first special Miata came out, and that was a British racing green with tan leather interior with a matching green hardtop. That is one of the most desirable Miatas today. Next up, in '92, they offered a sunburst yellow. Less than, I think, 1,600 of these cars were made. And it's a beautiful color, it's rare, it's desirable. You could easily spend a couple, 3,000 more for a sunburst yellow car. The next special Miata to talk about is the '93 LE. This was a black car with red interior, quite striking. It had the BBS wheels, and it also had the upcoming R model suspension package. It's quite a nice package. There were also some standalone options on the early cars. The most important is probably the limited slip differential. That is pretty much a must for any Miata owner that wants to do competition work of any kind. There was also a hardtop. The hardtops are gotten very expensive because the racers all use them. In Spec Miata, they are required. So by '94, as we discussed, change was a-coming. Miatas were being taken to autocross courses, they were taken to racetracks. They became the popular sports car for competition, and Mazda responded. The '94 has a little stronger ring and pinion. It also was the first year that a really good limited slip was developed. And then of course the big news was the R model. Some said that it rode a little stiff. That's true, but it certainly did handle nice. That was the first Miata that was geared really towards competition. The 1.8 engine would give you another 15 or 20 horsepower. It was noticeably quicker. There are some, myself included, that will tell you that they lost a little of the joy and the feel of the 1.6. It didn't seem to rev quite the same. I'm more a fan of the 1.6, but the 1.8 is a perfectly acceptable engine and is certainly going to make the car a little faster. Between '94 and '97, the M edition was also available. These came in some unique colors. These are considered fairly desirable in the Miata community, but the British Racing Green, I think, is the one that would become the most valuable because it's such a nice looking package. And for obvious reasons, you couldn't go wrong with a '94 R model. A little rough and tumble for my taste, and I like the earlier engines, but certainly that's a desirable Miata. So let's talk a little bit about care and feeding and maintenance and that sort of stuff with early Miatas. Honestly, they're very durable cars. There are a few issues. The bottoms of the seats were not painted. So in a climate, a northeast climate or a southeast climate, you can easily find rusted out seat pans. So that's something worth checking. If a car's been wet, likely to have problems with the seat pan, but that's something to look out for. Other than that, you can get a little rattling from the valve train, which isn't serious. The gearboxes are robust, the rear ends are robust. You know, any car that's 30-something years old that's probably going to need bushings and shocks and that sort of stuff. But there are really very few problem areas on the Miatas. They can rust, but they're not notorious rusters. You do need to keep an eye on rocker panels and some of the other components, but it wasn't really a bad rusting car. They were well galvanized. Parts availability is fantastic for these cars. You've got Moss Motors, it's got all kinds of original and some modification parts. You've got Goodwin Racing, Flying Miata. As we discussed, it's getting harder and harder to find nice, original, unmolested cars, and you're going to pay for them. To restore anything is a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 proposition. So you should be able to find one that doesn't need restoration, and we would certainly recommend that. You could buy a $2,000 or $3,000 worn out, high mileage Rat. You could never make it this nice for the price difference. So as we said when we started out, the Miata is kind of the answer to everything. It is a great first classic sports car. So yes, you definitely want to get a Miata. You want to get one before there's less nice ones out there, and the price keeps going up. So get one now. And if you like this sort of story, please check out our website, classicmotorsports.com. We've written about these cars hundreds of times, and like and subscribe to our channel.
Support brands that support classic motorsports. Get your chemical solutions from CRC Industries. Visit crcindustries.com to learn more.